Hey there guys, we're back for another week. We're going to do a little bit of busy work. We're going to kind of go through the frame rails with a piece of metal and an air hose and a vacuum. See if we can kind of get some dirt out. And I was looking at the back at some rust that we're going to convert with some just cheap spray so we can get that trunk floor replaced. The frame rails just have quite a bit of dirt in them. It's something you need to address while you have the time because it only helps the longevity of your car. So what we're going to do is we're going to tuck into that. It's not something we need to show. It's kind of some boring work, but after that we're going to go into reinstalling the dash. The dash is finally going to go in this weekend, so we're going to bring you guys along for that and do some talking as we do it. So right now I'm going to get to work on the busy work of just kind of going through the frame rails, pushing some dirt, getting a piece of metal in there, scraping it either side, blowing it out with air, and then we're going to get a little vacuum and we're going to put some clear line on it, just something to kind of bend, gets real in there, and we're just going to run that entire vacuum through each frame rail on the back of the car. I know the fronts are fine because I've taken those pretty much completely down and we cleaned as much as we could, and then in the floors we went through, we took out all the dirt as well, so we did get a good access to the front rails, but we're going to go and do the back rails. So hope you guys follow along. It's the end of this video, the end of these videos for the car are kind of getting a little different, but these are the little things in cars that kind of kill you. It's the stuff you need to do so you can have longevity in your car and to make it more complete. It's not fun to watch the parking brake get installed, it's not fun to watch the frame rails get cleaned out, but it's stuff we have to do with these cars so they do survive and that they do last longer. I don't want the rear frame rails to rot. They are very solid, so we're going to clean them out, because if you don't clean them out, you can get water, anything in there, and then it hits that dirt and it turns into mud and it just stays there. So right now, I know the car's dry. It's been in, this thing's been indoors for about 1.5 years now. Hasn't really been out in any water, and it hasn't been washed in almost a year. So we know the dirt's really dry. We got a good chance to get it now, so let's do it. And then we're gonna come back, we're gonna get you guys with the dash. Hi guys, we're just gonna see if we can capture this. I kinda wanna show you guys how bad these rails can get packed. Now this isn't me, I didn't put dirt in it. So I'll have to go back and watch, but all I'm using is a piece of scrap steel from, I don't know, a floor or something. But if you guys can see all that, that's just me bending this into shapes to kind of crack it up a little and get it out. And these things can get full. Obviously, I'm probably not going to reach all the way up into here, but we're still going to do our best. We're still going to use air after this in a vacuum, and then there's just these little holes in the rails. That's all we're using to get the dirt and dust out. So we're still going to do the other rail, do some air and do some vacuum. This is probably going to take about 2 hours, so it's going to be quite a bit of time, this video, and it might shorten up some other work we can do, but it's stuff we got to get done so the car lasts. And eventually we're going to take all this back out. I know we took it out in the prior one, the whole rear end. We're going to paint it, and we've also got to figure out the rear end's having a little bit of vibration issues. We're going to take the tires off, start the engine again, put it in through the gears, and the only thing I could think of is maybe the U-joint just didn't slip together as good as I remember. So maybe we'll look, see if something's off or something's bad. The drive shaft does have both of its weights that were welded on. They're still there, but we're going to get back to the frame rails, and then we're going to try to diagnose the shake in the car. And the wheels are not balanced for our knowledge, so we need to do that as well still. Alright, we're back. I just wanted to give you guys an update of blowing out the frame rails. So it took about an hour or two. That is all dirt from the frame rails. Now we sweeped it up. Obviously there's a little bit of overlay, but I mean that's all dirt from the frame rails. We're gonna dump it into the garbage so that you guys kind of see it. Definitely doesn't hurt to do this to your car. Now we gotta clean up again. That's quite a bit. It's enough if you're one-handed lifting one of these to kind of put a strain on your wrist. But alright, so So we're gonna jump back into putting the dash. Just wanted to show you guys that. It really felt good cleaning out the frame rails. That was a lot of dirt. Obviously wearing a mask when I blew my nose, it's pretty black, but let's get back to the dash. Cleaning the frame rails is something we want to do. So we're done with that. We'll cross that off the list. Let's get back to it, guys. Hey, a little update. We got the dash in. One thing I wish I would have known, so let me get you in here. With this dash, I had lowered the steering wheel and kind of the 3 bolts on the bottom and the 2 there, and then there's a 3rd one on the dash bottom. When I was putting it together, I guess I wasn't watching enough. You have to pull this out a little. So I was tightening up the 2 bolts there that suck it up, and it started to hit on the plastic and kind of crack stuff. So we're gonna run into that issue now of having to epoxy it, kind of, try to sand it and get it to look good, or just leave it the way it is. It's a very old original, it is the original dash. It's very fragile. I mean, the thing was breaking even as I took screws out when I originally took it out. But a big thing is when you're doing these, pull the steering wheel to you, so back, and then start to tighten those bolts. We had those issues, and it just didn't help me out now that I'm trying to fix that as well. Another thing is we're gonna throw the radio in. I was trying to see if the gauges worked for the dash, but I couldn't get the alternator to work, and then I realized I bypassed that. So there is actually no alternator gauge anymore in the car. So we do have the fuel tank in with sending unit, but I don't know if I want to put the fuel in it yet. The next one I was trying was the temperature, but it's a little too cold outside to leave it running with so I can leave it running with the doors closed, but then we're going to get fumed out, and it's a little cold to leave the big doors open, so I got the little door open. But what we're going to do right now is throw the radio in. I really want to test the new speaker and the original radio, see if it actually works. Wipers work, lights work. The only thing I cannot get to work on the dash is the lights, like for the gauges. And obviously the speedometer, as I can see it, is stuck at 10. So we're going to have to try to fix that, see what's going on with it. Obviously it's not working right now. I've got something hopefully I can adjust in the transmission speedo cable to get it to work. But we're going to throw the radio in and keep everything going. Another thing that didn't work was the parking brake light. I know the brake's engaging. I know it's got a little fuse sensor there, but I can't seem to get it to work, so we're just going to have to see maybe if all the lights in the dash are bad. Maybe one light's bad and it's not making any of them work. I don't know. I've never had the best of luck with dash lights, even in my Challenger. They don't work. I have a flashlight that I tape up there to see the speedometer while I'm driving at night. But we're gonna see if hopefully we can figure this one out, because I'm not taking that dash back out, but maybe there's some little trick we can do, if even stick a light in to make it just work with a flip switch or something. But we're gonna come back and we get something going, and hopefully the radio's in. Follow along, guys. Hey everyone, we're back. So we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but we can add upholstery to our list of feats for the car. Now this is the package tray. All I did was buy some stuff off Amazon called Hunter Green, and it looks to be a pretty good match. And I'm not anything too upholstery. It's the first time I ever did anything like this. But we got a piece of foam, and all it came down to is using a Sharpie and just kind of tracing everything out. And then letting the glue sit for roughly about a minute before we tried to tack stuff over. Now, I think the best part about this upholstery job is we're going to have these. Let me grab one. Now this is the underside. It's pretty ugly, I get it. But we got these that are going to go on the other side, so you shouldn't see much even if it's a bad go around. The only thing that really sucked is it wasn't long enough to actually go from the corners. And it's weird because I ordered the same foam and the same fabric at the same length, and the foam was plenty and the fabric wasn't. So, but we are going to let this tack up, quick look at it. So just the holes for the sub boxes. Went around. We're gonna have to fix that one. Set you guys right there. Hey everyone, we're back. Quick update. We're going to close it up for the day. We left off, we got the fuel line, we got our fuse in. We ended up putting a 30 amp in it to see how it does. We are going to go for the night, and we're also going to get some gas before it gets ridiculous filming this during that time. So we did put a little bit that I could get maybe 2.5 gallons in. It wasn't enough to move the gauge, I don't think, but it was enough to actually run it for a little bit, and it was picking up a little bit from the tank. You just couldn't really do much or get on it. So the car's running off its own fuel. The car has its dash. The car has its own wiring. Headlights, wipers, tail lights, blinkers. This car's looking good. It took long enough, but it's coming around full circle. We got the frame rails cleaned out. We got it poured. Should last a long time. And we can add upholstery. Don't mind the holes, they're terrible, because this is going to sit on them, so you really won't be able to see it. The biggest thing is the speaker fits in the package tray. Those are going to go on top. This is going to go there. We got some foam, and we got hunter green. It's going to look good. So hope you guys enjoy. We're going to pick it up tomorrow, and we're going to see what goes on that day. But the list is getting short again, so we got to find more stuff to do on it, which won't be hard. So follow along. Hope you guys enjoy. Hey, we're back. One more little clip. Trying to remember where we're at in the first place. Right now we bought another radio. The one we got from China didn't ever show up, so I don't know why I'm really making them plug and play. Just feel like that's the easiest way to do a lot of stuff. But we have some radio off Amazon that we're going to try. It was half off. It's a Boss Audio Streaming 200 watt. The only thing I don't like about the radio is all the speaker wires are god tiny and they're only coated. I'm not a fan of them, but we're going to do them anyway. See how they work. So I'm going to cut back in when we're actually doing some wiring in the car, not just me messing with the side that gets the speakers. But I picked up a box, just a little one. I do like this deck just for the pure fact it looks new, but it doesn't look retro new, so older. But this box is quite big for it. I think the box I bought was for the original one, which could take a disc. This one can't, but it was a nice price, and I believe it was the most starred deck on Amazon. It's usually about $120. And I got it for $30 some on sale, so we're gonna try it out. Other than that, we took out the fuse behind the alternators, put a fusible link. It's 12 gauge wire. We put some 14 in there, let that burn because it kept popping amps, and you can't get a 50 amp in the size fuse holder I had. So after we get the radio, we're actually gonna buff and wax the car after washing it. So hope you guys stay along for that one. That should be a fun one. We're actually gonna really get at the outside of this car as best we can in the areas we can, because we have to send some pictures to get it insured. So we need to make it look good and need to make it look clean. So let's get to it. Let's finish up this radio, finish up these speakers, give it a test, and then we're gonna clean the car full out. So let's get back at it. Hope you guys follow along. We're gonna cut you in when we get to the radio part and how we're gonna put that in the car. Hey, we're back once again. So we just quick linked everything because we had an issue with some wiring before. Let's see if the car burns down together. Why don't we? So I'm just gonna set you guys up. The box is just hanging right there. So I'm gonna go plug the battery in. turn the key. Well, looks like we failed again. We're gonna take a look at it. We'll bring you guys back. All right, we're back. We got the car cheated. Alright guys, for obvious reasons we had to cut the volume playing a song on the radio and speakers, but they both do work. I checked the left, the right, and the rear, and the middle one. One issue we did have is the instructions when I purchased it were very poor. You actually need constant power and accessories. I just figured you'd need accessories because I didn't want constant power. Didn't really know what it would do, but we never had an issue with the radio. We just had to wire the constant power and accessories. I ended up taking the cigarette lighter constant power, and then I had an accessory one there already from the original radio. So it works, everything's doing good. We never actually had an issue. We'll cut back with you guys, more work. Alright, we're outside. I think it's about 55 degrees where I'm from right now, so it's warming up again. But we have the duster out. The radio works for reasons I didn't think of when I started playing music. We had to mute a certain section of the radio, but all three speakers are working. Front in the dash right there, and we got two in the back that we still need to secure, but I left the screws for it in my F250. So for now, we're gonna wash the car. By wash the car, we're really gonna get after it, and then we're gonna try to cut it. For, I don't know why, but insurance purposes, they want a picture of the front and then the back and some interior stuff, and it kind of screws me for interior because I don't have any right now. I'm still waiting on getting it, but hopefully I'm next in line. It should be done soon. Another thing with the car is I'm leaking brake fluid, and tomorrow it's got to go in for an alignment. So I think we're just going to drive it down there anyway. It only seems to leak when you actually pull the e-brake, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Another issue I just found is my reverse. Must have flipped it, so I need to flip it again. To go into reverse, it's down, and it should be up. So we got to fix that. Have to go back on the lift, swap the linkage upside down, and then that's what fixes the Dodge, at least from what I've seen, is you just push the linkage, you flop it. So if it's up, put it down, and then you're good to go. But for right now, let's wash it. We're gonna pressure wash it. I'll probably just put you guys on a loop. I haven't did one of those in quite a while. The radio stuff, when the first clip I put it on, it wasn't working. The instructions for this Boss 66BU or something from Amazon, I'll put the part number, are crap. They are really bad. So it had a yellow wire, a red wire, and a ground. The red wire actually has to be your accessories, and on these old cars, pretty thick wire. On the new radio, it's like an 18 gauge, 20 gauge wire, really little, and it's that coated crap. It's not even good wire. So I didn't feel comfortable plugging the red to it, so what I did is thought I could just go off of power. No. I actually had to run a power wire, full power constant is what the yellow is. And it doesn't say that on the instructions, but when you look it up on the internet, another guy posted the issues he was having, so that's a constant. The accessories itself goes with the side, so let's get back at it. Hey guys, we're back. The Duster's back on the lift. We flipped reverse like we said we were gonna do, because if I'm gonna take it to the shop, I don't want it to seem like a cobbled up junk pile that doesn't work when they go to. I couldn't find reverse. It'd take me about 10 minutes, and I know the car. I didn't want them to jump in it and can't find reverse, and then it's just a show at that point. So we flipped reverse. It was just hanging down. We need to flip it up. So we should be able to find reverse. This shifter actually is broken, like a spring's missing. Need to get a new box, like an actual shifter. So you have to lift up and kind of move it over and then push it up, and that's reverse. And then to get it back, you just pull it back and the shifter will kind of drop. But past that, we've got our turtle wax cutter on. We actually ran out of the Meguiar's fine cut that I really like to use. I was actually gonna get like a medium to a fine and also do, I forget what it's called, but some kind of a bath. But we're gonna try this and see how it goes. We're gonna let it sit 20 minutes and take it off in the order I put it on. A nice thing about the lift is I don't have to bend over. So if you have a lift, use it and don't feel bad about it. But we're gonna let this sit 20 minutes. We're gonna come back and see how it does when we take it off. And then we'll show you the finished product. One thing I did notice from the pressure washer is we actually took off a little bit of paint. I think right there and right there. Just some flaky stuff, but it doesn't seem like there's any rust on it, so I'm not 100%. We'll look back at the photos, but follow along guys, we're gonna come right back as we're taking the wax off. So come back.